gonna be about you today because first I'm not really I'm outside and there's a lot of noise, and also my voice is not the greatest right now. But you can hear me?
I can.
Okay. Uh, we are live, I believe. Yes. What's up? What's up, peoples? I'm outside running a lot of errands, so our beautiful co-host Autumn G, you guys will be able to look at her, and I'm sure the numbers will do tremendous. Uh, but yeah, man, yesterday was a good episode. Close to an hour. A lot of views. I like a lot of. I like it was a lot of engagement from. Thank you for the whole everybody on the chat that came on and spoke about yesterday, September 11th, and also the tragedy that happened the day before with Mr. Charlie Kirk. A lot of it was good. It was good dialogue. It was good conversation. I think we were able to uh, really speak on what's going on in the world and in the U.S. particularly, and being respectful and courteous to others. Even if they have different viewpoints and different moralities or values or whatever you would like to call it than yourself. So it was great to discuss that with you, Autumn. Again, thank you for everybody that came on, discussed it, reached out to me about the topic. All right, let's move on. Today, I've been actually kind of holding off this topic uh, for a while, and I'm glad we're going to be speaking about it today. And it has to do with an epidemic that's kind of growing in the U.S. and it's been increasingly, rapidly growing for the last few years, or maybe for decades, and that's homelessness. Now, the reason why I want to bring up homelessness is because, like I said, it's a rapid epidemic that's been kind of rising throughout major metropolitan and maybe even rural cities and towns across the U.S. And I want to speak about the components that make up homelessness, the economic, the social, the mental, and even maybe even some of the political dynamics that come about it. And you know, the whole notion that people who are homeless, it's as if it's a crime, which is not. Homelessness is not a crime. To me, is more of an economic issue. And yeah, there's also mental inabilities, abilities that go along with it. You know, but let's kind of discuss that a little bit. And I want to kind of get your take on it. My take on homelessness is more so of an economic issue. Not saying that there's not mental dynamics about it, but it definitely has a lot to do with economic standing and stability. And not everybody who's homeless has some type of mental issue. I mean, a lot of people who are homeless don't have any mental issue. It's really just because of the financial or economic issues that they may be having, or toughness that they may be having. So let's kind of delve into that. Thank you everybody who's coming on. Please engage in the chat. I want to see people say hi. Let's kind of get this going. Also, I would like people to start sharing these lives on different social media platforms. Whatever social media platform that you use besides YouTube, please start sharing. But let's get people on here. Let's talk about it. Let's get to it. This is the topic of the day. This is the weekend, and I'm not the singer of the weekend, but we're going into the weekend with Autumn G and Sammy B. All right, let's get into it.
Oh,
What do you
right.
think? Where do we start with homelessness?
Well, there's a
Especially in
lot to
major
talk
cities.
about that
Major cities.
topic.
Let's talk about major cities and urban cities, and and not even like let's talk about rural areas. How does that affect rural areas?
So, if we're starting with the cities, I would say that it's mainly a drug problem when it comes into the city. the cities, I believe, are really overran with a population of people who are helplessness. Their homelessness is because of the helplessness that they're in, and they're struggling with mental health. They're struggling with trying to beat addiction. And then you have where there are people who are misplaced due to um, trying to escape domestic violence, trying to, make it with one paycheck, living paycheck to paycheck. And it becomes where we have to come together as, a family and sometimes support each other and let people live with us. I've had plenty of times where I've had family members who weren't able to sustain themselves just by themselves, and I would allow them to come and rent my spare room or sleep on my couch. Who, you know, they just are trying to find themselves in this crazy world when their luck is down. I believe that it
Hey,
comes from just not having a very close tie to them, to themselves and to others, because we make all of the choices that end up with having bad things happen. And bad things don't always happen because of bad choices. Sometimes they happen because they have to happen to have the better side of things become. So,
J Mo, thank you. J Momo, or J or Momo, or JM. Thank you. I'm gonna
mhm,
call you JM, man. Thank you for coming on. You know, people who are coming on, we're talking about homelessness in major U.S. cities as well as the world. And also rural. Let's not forget rural areas. And it's a dynamic economic, financial, uh, drug issue. I mean, like Autumn just
a
stated.
burden.
You know,
It,
you know,
it really is a burden because when you have
burdensome.
homeless people out on the streets, they tend to forget and become careless of what's around them. They will loiter, they will litter, they will do anything by means to, I feel like scamming people to get money or to steal from people so they can get what they have to for either their substances or their next meal. I personally have a condensed homeless population where I currently reside, and you will find them in the woods. You will find them at the stops holding up a sign explaining that they're homeless and just need a buck to feed themselves. But I will never give homeless people money. And that's not because I don't believe money would fix their problem. That's because I want them to accept something from me, such as kind words or a, a bottle of water, something to eat, some clothing, a bar of soap, stuff like that. That is essentially what I go out trying to do for the homeless people. But I mainly will speak to them just to try to get a perspective of why they're there. And a lot of times they will tell me that they're just down on their luck. They have no family. And it must suck not to be able to have somebody who cares about you. You have that as a safety net to have in case you ever get stuck in a position as so, because you never know within your time period what could happen. But what I've noticed is I have asked them, what keeps you from staying down in Atlanta? A couple of them have told me that they won't stay in Atlanta because the streets go and make sure that you don't lay on their benches and you don't lay in their parks, and they have to do what they have to do to make sure and ensure that the city is still going to be safe, because homeless people tend to lose their capability of careless or becoming caring people. They are so down, vibrating at such a low frequency that they forget to be connected to one each other. Now, that's not to say everybody is that, but I'm talking about the ones that are truly out there struggling in the in between of being here and not. To to I don't know how to fix it, myself, but as a community, it definitely can be something that could be catered to as a solution instead of shunned. They typically can't go to shelter homes, especially men. That's the biggest one. Men really are the last choosings when it comes to shelters, and not a lot of people will trust men because they're men. But then you have, the women and the kids who don't typically want to be in a shelter or can't go to a shelter because, let's give a scenario. To say that they have more kids that don't live with them and they go to the shelter and they can't have their other kids there.
Wait, hold
They
on. Let's
can't
kind of
really,
stop. I don't know if
okay,
the live restarted or not. We were speaking about homelessness in different cities in the United States. You know, the dynamics of how it caused. Hopefully this did not restart. I don't think it did, but did you see it pause?
I didn't.
Okay. We're speaking about homelessness. Yeah, and just the dynamics that bring about homelessness. Is it economical, financial, social, medical health? As far as like drugs. So you know, Autumn is really speaking about it, and continue. I like where we're going with this.
Okay. So there's a lot of circumstances that will keep people from getting help. It's hard to ask for help. Who wants to tell somebody that they have been misplaced? Who wants to even acknowledge that they don't have a home to lay their bones at? So it just becomes like a shameful process for people and families, which ultimately could end up having them resort to finding drugs or other sources of income, and it's unhealthy to do that. And we will scramble for what we can get out in the streets, just for $1, just for a place to sleep, just for something to eat. We, as a as that homeless community, um, I see a lot of their pain. Back to why they won't stay in Atlanta and they're coming more out into the rural areas because it's such a restriction down on the streets. They can't. I mean, you've seen it where it's like anti-homeless acts. They'll put spikes places. They'll make sure that they can't sleep. I understand you got to protect the other people out here, but what are you going to do about the problems that are really there still? You can't just put spikes up and say they can't sleep there. You have to infiltrate the streets. You have to get in there. You,
What do you
anybody.
think? Like, so what are you saying? Like grassroots as far as canvassing and outreach. There's a lot of there should be outreach not for profits outreach programs. What do you say going when you say hitting the streets? What do you are you speaking about outreach programs? People volunteering
Yeah.
their times and energy to try to reach out to the people that they see that are homeless. What in that regard is trying to help the macro or the overall picture exactly?
Whatever suits you. If you are a person who can get out there and give your time to help commute to trying to get homeless to be eradicated, you're going to have to go and join yourself into your community wherever you can find it. You're going to have to research ways to help if you're wanting to help. The thing about donating, and I completely believe in donation, please be aware of corporations that do get a tax cut for helping out families in need. You really want to go to the sources such as foster homes or homeless shelter, even hospitals. You can you can go there and make sure that you're donating supplies. It doesn't have to be money. It can be just supplies and your time. So that way you for certain know that your proceedings do go where you were planning for them to go. Myself, I like to find people who are struggling out on the roads. I used to be really into the community where I would help local pantries out and clothing clothing spots and be into churches and stuff like that. But myself felt a very I don't know, disdained about the process that I was conducting in. It wasn't that I didn't believe the churches or community places like that didn't do their job, because they're doing what they can. But I feel like it's not solving the problem. You allow, we're going to pick drug addicts. If you allow them to come and get food and clothing, we're not talking about the ones with the families. We're just talking about a single person. You are allowing whatever kind of income source that they are able to get to go towards drugs, to go towards that lifestyle that you're implicating, that it's okay to just come here and get your food. It's okay to come here and get clothed. I I think in the community centers like that, they should definitely be more restrictive. And there are definitely places like Must Ministry that, they have more restrictions. But I'm just talking about your mom and pops churches that do stuff like that. I feel like they help fuel the homeless problem, because they're not actually helping. You can say wonderful words to them in your sermon, and you can be a good person and give them food and something to put on their back. But the real problem is they need help. They need to find ways to get over their traumatic experiences that keep them bounded, of not believing they're worthy enough. They need to seek out clinics if they must. I'm not one to push pharmaceutical drugs on anybody, but they no longer can produce those happy hormones inside their body to tell them that they're enough. So they're going to have to find it, either pharmaceutical or go out in the world and find it. There's wonderful things out here that will make you happy, such as a walk. And a walking, you know, that's a hard thing, because
Cool. So
not
so the
everybody
homeless,
has.
but how's the homeless supposed to find it if they don't really know where to go? I mean, if they don't know where to go, or places, not every place is a metropolitan city where they can just walk or take public transportation. And even metropolitan cities, tra- transportation may not be as evident or as timely as other cities, right? Like, let's say Atlanta compared to New York City, where New York City is 24 hours, and matter of fact, it's it's mainly more
Never sleep
common for
city.
people. Well, yeah, it's more common for people to take public transportation, and they can live in New York City until for forever. You know what I mean? Until they're deceased or old, just taking public transportation and not having, or Ubering and lifting, or whatever you want to call it, um, to where they need to go. There's many people, particularly in the baby boomers, who don't even drive cars, just because big cities like New York. Then maybe as opposed to Atlanta, whose city is big as well, but maybe more people need to take some type of public transportation. If you're homeless, how are you getting to the locations without any money or any resources to get out there?
You
I
do,
guess that also plays into the point of the outreach that you're speaking about. But then again, those outreach places need to have cars and stuff to get to those homeless people as well. So it's just a lot of
exactly.
monetary that needs to happen. A lot of
Hmm.
monetary things that tends to need to happen. But is the government
So I
funding it?
believe once we
Where's the money? Where's the money coming from?
exactly. So once we speak
Karen,
something into
Karen,
existence,
thank you for coming
I
on.
think
Thank you.
we're go.
1 second, Karen, thank you for coming on. Autumn, what we're gonna do is we'll stop. Like, I'll give you the cue to kind of stop, just to kind of let people who are coming on and are mentioning. We have Karen, just to kind of greet them. All right, not to cut you off, but just to let people know who's on. Karen, thank you. Karen
Hi,
Dempsey,
Karen.
thank you for coming on. She states, really, because most people love to be homeless, so let's not ignore them, and they'll go away. There are not as many places to help homeless people as you think. And she brings up a good point. Or she or
Exactly.
he, I hope,
And there's not many people out there who are willing to help them. I hear Many people in my life right now are like, you're wasting your time. You're just like them because you're out there socializing with them. Do you realize how many steps away we all are from being that? We are no different than these people out here struggling. They are just stuck. They are stuck in a mindset, and it takes others to help. Like you can't just say, see that. You have to look at it what it is. Those are our people. That is a brother, that is a sibling, a mom and dad. You know what I mean? An aunt and uncle, a niece and nephew. It is somebody to someone. And if you just put your blinders on, you're not helping, but you're contributing to what is going on out here. So we're going to go back to how do you help them? And it's not really us to help, but if you were down on your luck and you needed help, where would you go? And these people say, "Oh, you can go to these community centers. You can go to Must Ministry. You can go here. You can do internet search." Not all of them have the capability to get there. They don't have the internet like you and I. They don't have a vehicle like you and I, and they don't even have money like you and I. So what it does is just maybe we should go ahead and try to figure out together in our community, mine and yours, to maybe construct something that would be helpful, because they would rather live that life of not worrying about money and only worrying about what makes them go, and that's either drugs or whatever else, because I really personally believe nobody would be homeless living in the woods if it was not for substances. I have not met one homeless person that did not have an addiction to substances. So, any other homelessness, people are able to go, especially, domestic violence and stuff like people like that. They're able to go to resource centers because they're already really kind of established. They probably have a job, they probably have a vehicle, and
So
if they don't,
I
they
would like
probably
to
most
enter.
likely have
I
a
would like to I
phone.
would like to interject in that. Let's not
Okay.
say that. Oh, that's an experience that you may have, and
Yeah.
that I know I've encountered people who are homeless who don't have drug addiction. They don't have mental. It's more of an economic and financial sustain, because places like Atlanta, places like New York and L.A. and Miami and Chicago
Hmm.
and those bigger metropolitan cities, you need you need finances, and there's people who maybe are not able to obtain those finances, or they haven't hit the educational threshold, or they didn't have the public network that other people may have, or private network that other people may have to get them in those positions financially, so they're struggling. And as we get as more people are arriving in the US, and whether it's being born or job related or wherever they're coming from, people are getting pushed out. People who are not on the financial pedestal are being pushed out or pushed to the bottom and being left behind. And homelessness just keeps rising and rising and rising. And it's it's
So,
I'm trying to get my thoughts. It's I'm
but they are in their
it's a collective attribute, you know,
yes.
um, that's happening here. Think of it like uh, a time bomb, or what do you call those bombs? That not a bomb, but let's just call it a time bomb. It's ticking, ticking, ticking until it's a boom. So this is something that has been kind of yielding for years and generations,
Hmm.
and it just keeps imploding, imploding, imploding until it's about to explode. So we can't not turn our our, our attention away from that. You know what I mean? So what do we do? Okay,
Exactly.
we need to get more skilled people, more trade opportunities, and I think that's what the Department of Commerce and the Department of Labor, they're trying to do, especially the Department of Commerce that President Trump has. Looking, he tells people that we're going to try to get more trade resources, trading schools, trading education for people in skilled trades because that's what's needed. You know, uh,
Hmm.
but and to each his own, that type of thing.
Yes,
But
exactly. So what I was trying
J-Mo,
to
thank you
say
for
is
coming on, man.
there.
Thank you for coming on.
Bye
You know what I mean? I know you gotta leave. God,
bye.
listen, share this, share this. Come on, we're gonna be on here daily. We'll be on here tomorrow. Sunday is our days off, but we're gonna be on a daily basis. Please let people know about this. I will be promoting these lives daily, and let's kind of get this community going because you guys are like my family here. It's a community. We're all here to learn from each other and use the resources that God has given us, and just
Mhm.
learn from each other, man. Just take it and run with it. And that's what I want to say. All right, let's get back to it.
It's not that I'm saying that it's going to be easy, but people who are in their right mind are going to have an easier path to getting out of homelessness. They are able to communicate, they are
JMO,
able
hit the like
to
button. Hit the
think,
like button. Everybody, hit the like button. Share it. Comment.
and most likely, hopefully, they are willing to go and find the resources that they seek because nobody is going to do it for you, only you can. But there are places that still will help you do it as you're doing it. So you can't just, hopefully, it's a mindset thing. So yes, circumstances suck, but I'm a person that believe that everything has to happen for a reason, the bad, the good, and when you look at it as all of a learning process to get where you are supposed to be. Who to say that you weren't put in that position of homelessness or misplacedness to be that person to help out homelessness slash people out? Sorry, let me rephrase that. You could be the one to change the game. If it's happening to you, it can happen to them, and if it's happening to them, it could happen to you. You just have to look at it at different perspectives. It sucks having to be at the lowest of the low. But what's the saying? When you are at the low, the only way you can go is up. Okay? That's on Sing.
Mhm.
So you just have to make yourself believe that you are the change. And if you're not allowing your mind to believe it and your body to do it, you're not going to change your reality. And that's what I believe speaking to people just will help do. You tell them, that there are resources. And if you are able to help them, like help them get a social security card or help them find resources in the local area. And if you are able to even get a helping hand, such as taking them to appointments, something like that, that's a wonderful thing you could do for somebody. And who to know what kind of butterfly effect you just created. But I do agree with you. I would love to see what Trump has to offer to the community, such as that. We do need other things to be implicated in the world to help combat the homeless because what initially happens, I believe, is they are dying out here and not anybody is knowing this. And I don't know what they do with the bodies. None of my business, but it is our business. We have to think about what kind of what kind of torture they're going through. And it's not saying, okay, what kind of feelings they are feeling when they are going through their last days of being. It takes one time to make something happen. Us as a community, not everybody needs to do it, but if we could make this world a safer place by helping homeless people, And it's not, I'm more targeted to the homeless people who have drug addictions. I am not saying that you can't be just anybody and not become homeless, because it's very, very real. Like your house could burn down and you'd still be living, or you lose your job. Hopefully, you have the mindset to believe that this happened for a reason. I'm going to figure it out. And from there, I will learn what I must do to become that person that I'm guided to become. Once again, bad things, good things, they happen for all the reasons that make you become who the universe, God, is asking you to become. So being able to have people like myself and you and others go out there and just place ourselves in their shoes without being in their shoes would, I believe, make the difference in our community with the homeless problem that we have in the streets. It's not just drugs. It's not just about money. I believe it's about the community. Are you gonna just be the one who says, "I don't care. That's not me"?
Mm.
What does that solve when it is you? What are you going to
Right,
look like when it happens to you?
right.
You're going to
I
bitch
think
and you're going to complain that there wasn't any sources for you
right,
because maybe you weren't the one to make them.
right. Well, I mean, let's see how I think that's a good point that you make. I think it goes to accountability, and
Yes.
that will actually be a topic for tomorrow. Accountability, and that's I think we're gonna leave it
Mm,
there because where I'm at is Friday and everybody's making noise, and I know everybody wants to do what they have to do. I think everybody who's coming on, I think JM, Jomo, Karen, everybody else who's come on, thank you again. We'll be on tomorrow. Please like, subscribe to the channel, share, comment. We like to see everybody on here participating. You know, go on to the channel, subscribe, like, share, comment, and all that other good stuff. And let's learn from each other on a daily basis and have this community growing.
hmm
All right. And also, let's let us know what other topics, trending topics, hot topics that you guys want to speak on. Because we're actually here for you guys. We're here to get knowledge and to provide knowledge. And provide resources and dynamics on here. And if we can change one mindset or a few, that's better than what it was yesterday. You know. So let's keep it going. Let's keep the momentum going. Thank you guys. Salute, salute. Have a blessed Friday, and see you guys tomorrow. God bless.
Be
Sandy
the
B and
change.
Autumn G. Later.